This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, let's have some fun. It's time for Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Monday night and the conclusion of what was an incredible Game 4 at Madison Square Garden. This is going to be a fun show. If you were a Celtics backer or a Celtics fan, maybe not for you, but we're going to have some fun here. My New York Knicks up 3-1 over a Boston Celtics team that the Knicks couldn't beat not one time in the regular season. Jalen Brunson says, oh, Tatum, you want to have the game of your career? Let's go shot for shot like we're at Marquee on a Friday night. They were absolutely sensational in the second half. I mean, once again, falling behind double digits, not quite 20, but what did Boston go up? 14, 16 early in the third quarter. And the Knicks answer, completely erase the deficit going into the fourth and then dominate the fourth quarter of play at home, doing exactly what I said they needed to do, defending their home court, defending Madison Square Garden. Ladies and gentlemen, this series is not over, but I'll tell you what, the series is over. The New York Knicks are going to win the series. This was inspired basketball by the New York Knicks, and a higher scoring affair than I think most, myself included, anticipated in this one. You know, yesterday we talked about the different betting angles in this game, and ultimately I settled on the Josh Hart prop. That was no good. That's fine. Right now it's my only loss of the day. So if that's my only loss and we miss on the prop, but the Knicks win the game, I'm all right with that. I can sleep okay with that. But we talked about the Celtics team total, and, you know, I said I didn't like over 107.5. They go over and they lose by 8. I mean, I don't think anyone thought the Knicks were going to put up a $120 in this one. And Boston early on defensively looked great. And then for the Knicks in the second half, in the final 18 minutes or so of play, the shots just kept falling. Jalen Brunson, what did he have, 18 in the third quarter? I mean, a beast was awakened at halftime. And Jason Tatum, again, look, and we'll touch on the injury shortly because hopefully Tatum is back and a go for Game 5, although it looks disheartening and it looks unlikely, and we'll hear from Joe Mazzulla shortly as well regarding the injury. But Jason Tatum deserves all the credit in the world. He had a career night. Jason Tatum played a phenomenal basketball game. But Jalen Brunson said, I'm going shot for shot with you, man. And in the second half, you know, Brunson is a guy who, what was he averaging in this series coming into play tonight? 9 points in the first half through the first 3 games, right? It's taken Brunson a little while to get going each game this series, but going he got. My goodness, what a third quarter, what a second half. Mikal Bridges with more second half heroics. OG Anunoby down the stretch, turning steals into dunks, transition points, exclamation points, corner threes. Anunoby did it all. I mean, look, the ironic part is the one prop we gave out was Hart over 11.5 points. He was the only starter who didn't go over that number. I mean, and how about the second quarter? You know, even though the Knicks found themselves in a hole, I really want to highlight what Deuce McBride and Cam Payne did in that second quarter, because it was really seemingly the only time in the game where the Knicks starters got a bit of a break. And, you know, there were stretches where the Celtics would go up 11, and then that B team, that, you know, that backup unit, they would cut it to 5. And then the Celtics would go up 9, and then they'd cut it to 3. You know, so to those guys' credit, that second unit, the reserves, really kept them afloat, enabled the starters to get a break. And then coming out of the locker room second half, obviously the starting 5, with the exception of maybe Josh Hart for a little bit when he got into foul trouble, I mean, those guys didn't come off the court, right? They were running with 6 men in the second half, Mitch Robinson being the 6th man. And Mitch Robinson, by the way, was fantastic in doing what exactly he is asked to do. He was ferocious on the boards. I mean, the way that the Knicks exploited the Celtics' size in this one, right? Luke Cornett was having to get minutes. Luke Cornett can't be getting minutes in a playoff game, right? And he only got 8 of them, but it's because Kristaps and Horford were not doing a whole lot down low. I mean, you look at the battle of the boards in this one, and the Knicks were plus 12 on the glass, plus 12. Mitch Robinson had 8 boards, 5 of the offensive variety off the bench. Cat had 11 boards. Bridges had 7. Hart had 9. Josh Hart doing Josh Hart things, right? He didn't get there with the points. He had 6. 9 boards, 5 assists, a steal. Bridges with 4 steals. Anunoby played harassing defense. By the way, every Knicks starter not named Josh Hart, 20 plus. Anunoby, 20. Bridges and Towns, 23. Towns with a double-double. Brunson, a 39-point double-double. 12 dimes, 5 boards. Did it all. 40 minutes of work. I mean, this team just played their absolute tails off at MSG. And Boston, who 3-point shooting, this was a tale of 2 halves. First half, it looked like they were picking up right where they left off. Game 3, couldn't miss from beyond the arc. And then as the game progressed, the only guy who really couldn't miss was Jason Tatum. And even he started to finally miss a few. He was, 5 for 10, so he finishes 2 of 6 from deep. Derek White started hot as hell from deep, finished 6 of 11. Celtics hardly shot better than the Knicks from beyond the arc, 37% to 35% at the end of the day. And the Knicks shot better in the paint. I mean, the Knicks from the floor, 54%. They were 38 of, going to try to do some quick math here, 38 of 58 from 2. That is sensational. The Knicks were getting everything they wanted at the rim, and that's why I said it yesterday. Attack the Celtics down low. Because there was an offensive rebound turned putback that Karl Anthony Towns took from Peyton Pritchard, and it looked like I was playing basketball with my little 12-year-old brother. I mean, when you have that size advantage, especially with Mitch Robinson getting 25 minutes of work, and you can run the Twin Towers out there against a team, let's face it, Horford and Kristaps, first off, they're hardly on the court at the same time, right? Horford actually got a lot of run in this one, 38 minutes, more than usual. But they're not on the court together all that much, and they're not that ferocious down-low combo you would expect or hope that they would be, right? Like I said yesterday, Horford spends a lot of time out on the perimeter at this point in his career. And oh, by the way, didn't do much. 1 of 2 from the floor, 1 of 2 from 3. But Porzingis being banged up, Horford being in the later stages of his career, you put Cat and Mitch down there, and that's if they're on the court at the same time. There's no comp. And then if one of them's on the bench, I mean, Jason Tatum, he's very talented in the post, but that's usually when he draws the opposing team's 3 down low with him, right? Tatum is not going to be bodying Cat, bodying Mitch. I mean, Mitch was so physical, so ferocious. He has been giving this team such important minutes off the bench. And if this depth, if the Knicks can get meaningful minutes, Thibodeau's always going to run his starters if he can 36-plus minutes. But if the Knicks can start to get some meaningful minutes out of Deuce McBride, out of Mitch, maybe out of Campaign, then maybe the Knicks' depth can combat Indiana should they meet in the next round. I don't want to, start writing on anyone's tombstone yet. Both series are 3-1. We've seen crazier things, especially with this Celtics team. I'm not going to call them dead and gone, down 3-1, but they seem dead and gone. And Jason Tatum, and this is where things get really unfortunate, and even the Knicks fan in me, I want to beat Boston at full strength, right? I don't want to see anyone go down. And Jason Tatum plays his absolute tail off, is incredible, is heroic, is keeping single-handedly Boston in the game on a night where his supporting cast did not give him much to work with. Jaylen Brown couldn't hit a shot from the outside. Horford and Holiday couldn't hit a shot, period. It was like Tatum and Derek White keeping the Celtics afloat. And then Tatum goes down late, and it did not look pretty. Let's hear from Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla on the Jason Tatum injury.
No, not yet. It was a lower body injury. He's going to get an MRI tomorrow. He's with the doctors now.
Did they ever do any tests on site for Achilles?
I didn't ask him. I just got the update from him. I just asked him how he was doing. So I'll get the MRI tomorrow, and we'll see what it is.
How concerned is that for you guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously always concerned about someone's health. So it's twofold. We're concerned about his health, where he's at, and then we're concerned about what we have to do better for Game 5 when we get back to Boston.
Joe, was it the Achilles or was it the ankle itself? And was it contact? Because there was some contact.
I have no idea. I got back there, talked to the medical staff. They told me it's a lower body injury, and they're going to get an MRI tomorrow. So, we'll see where it goes from there.
It does not look good for Jason Tatum. And you could see on Joe Mazzulla's face the expression. You could see that Mazzulla it looks like he's anticipating the worst. And, like I said, I am right now, I'm over the moon. I'm ecstatic about the New York Knicks, but you never want to see that. And I want to see Tatum at his best go up against Brunson at his best. Like we saw game 4, I don't want to see the Knicks, mow down a Boston team without their star player. But this series has been a sensational series, and I hope Tatum's good to go for game 5 and the Knicks can take down the Celtics with Boston's best shot. Folks, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring that all gambling transactions get approved. That means no usage fees. It means no minimums. Also means you can earn cashback rewards and get 100% approval for all betting deposits. So sign up today. edgeboost.bet. Use the promo code CASH. Deposit $25. Edge Boost will match it. That's over at edgeboost.bet. Got a lot of live action to get into, and we've got action in just about every game, I believe. Arizona leading the Giants 2-1. Merrill Kelly on the bump. We took D-backs money line, laid 10 cents. Padres up 4-2 over the Angels. We need one more run from San Diego to get a plus 110 team total over 4.5. How about the Edmonton Oilers? Up 3-0. We got them money line minus 110. And then I played Minnesota on my drive over here for the show. I got 4.5. I laid 4.5 with the T-Wolves. We've got a lot of action, folks. We'll keep you updated on it up next. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. You don't want to miss this.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through a Monday night here. Loads of live action to get to. Still riding a high for my New York Knicks, taking game 4 at home, defending home court against the Boston Celtics. All over that to start the program. Speaking of Knicks, here's a Dante DiVincenzo 3 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Former Knick. 47-41. Wolves lead it. 5:20 to go. For our TV audience, sorry if you see me shifting and moving my neck a little bit, trying to see the clock and the score bug with a little tripod action in the way. Draymond airballs a 3. DiVincenzo, cross-court pass down low. I believe that's McDaniels. They kick it back out, and the Wolves will reset. Oh, man, was that an acrobatic Ant-Man to the rim? 49-41, Minnesota. Let's get you a live update as Golden State answers successfully this time from beyond the arc. 49-44. Wolves live numbers 5.5. I got him. This was called a red light bet. Got him on my drive-in right before tip, right after the Knicks game. I said, hey, you know what? Let me see what it is right now. I didn't want to go 6. I said, I'll do 5 if I can get a flat 5. Got 4.5, laid it with Minnesota in this spot. So we got the Wolves right now minus 4.5. Got the Oilers money line at minus 110. What do we have? D-backs, 1 on. Verlander pitched a nice game for San Francisco. He leaves top of the 7th, so he goes 6+. 1 on, none out. Arizona, 9 hits, but only 2 runs for the D-backs. They lead at 2-1. The Padres in a little trouble here. Michael King just got yanked. Let's keep an eye out there. Let's find what his K prop was, because I know he was flirting with that. Over 6.5 yesterday on air was coming in at like minus 170. Over 7.5 was closer to even money. I was looking at it. I wanted to go over 6.5, but not at that price. So I stayed away, went Padres team total for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. Over 4.5. They're at 4 in the top of the 6th. So they have at least 3 more turns at bat due to get me 1 more run. Michael King finishes with, well, not finished yet because that runner on second belongs to him, but he exits 5 2/3, 3 earned, 8 strikeouts. He went over on his K prop. Earned runs goes over too. I believe he was 1.5 on the earned run prop. No, you know what? It was 2.5, and it was insane, like nearly $2 juice to the under. All the King props, by the way, 5 2/3. So he loses outs recorded on the hook. He had to lay $2 to go over 17.5. If you went under 17.5, you cashed out and you had some good plus money there. So King, all of his props, it looked like, land on a hook, whether it's the right side or the wrong side. Earned runs and outs, wrong side. K's, right side. Oilers, Knights, inside 5 to go, period number 2. Still 3-0 Edmonton, making a statement on home ice after losing that heartbreaking buzzer beater, Game 3. Not as heartbreaking when you're up in a series 2-0, but still stunning to lose with a second left in this league. So Edmonton coming out, asserting themselves, and, look, talked about this yesterday, right? Oilers to win 4-2, the exacta, plus 240, looked great to me. And a lot of people, for some reason, I think thought the Knights were going to carry momentum. I saw that finish as more of a fluky finish than one that would carry momentum over from Game 3 to 4. And so I thought this was a tremendous spot to come back and hit Edmonton at a really fair price on home ice. And so far, through nearly 2/3 of the game, it looks like it's such. What do we have here from Arizona? Force out. Okay, no double play. Lead runner gone. Guy on first, 1 out, top of the 7th. D-backs up 2-1. Let's get some live odds on the diamond, shall we? Hoops, they're at a commercial break. 4:17 to go. Timberwolves still laying the 5.5, up 5 that we mentioned. The Yankees just had an eruption. They were down 2-1 against Seattle. Jorge Polanco and Julio Rodriguez had a pair of homers for the Mariners. And the Yankees put up a 7 spot on Emerson Hancock, 6 of them in the top of the 5th. My goodness, who was it? Austin Wells with the exclamation point, a 3-run homer. Trent Grisham tied it when they were down 2-1, tied it at 2 apiece. Goldschmidt, RBI single. Belly, RBI single. Wells, bring Goldschmidt and Belly home. 3-run blast, 7-2 Yankees. Clark Schmidt, 5 innings, 2 earned, 6 Ks. He's had a bumpy start to the year, but he's still out there in the bottom of the 6th, rightfully so, and dealing. Emerson Hancock gets chased. His ERA is up near 7. Disastrous season for the young righty. Padres-Angels odds headed to the bottom of the 6th. San Diego's a minus 750 favorite on the money line. That's an absurd price. If you want to lay the run line with the Pods, remember they're at home. You might be sacrificing a turn at bat. Minus 1.5 is minus 105. Angels plus 1.5, minus 25 cents. Angels money line, you're getting nearly 5-1 on that. Arizona, minus 250 on the money line, up at San Fran, top of the 7th. Or are they going, did the Giants get out of it? They did. Must have been a double play when I looked away. So 2-1, 7th inning stretch. Arizona still a $2.50 favorite. Giants, if you think they can pull this one out, plus $1.85 at home. And the run line, D-backs minus 1.5, plus 185. Giants plus 1.5, minus 245 on the run line. So the money line and run line prices are flipped for each team. D-backs minus 245 money line, Giants run line. D-backs run lines plus $1.85. That's the Giants money line price. Back in action in Golden State. Looks like Jules Randle, nice little kick out. What do we get there? Foul called? Who was that? Might be a 3-point shooting foul from the corner. I'm sure the Stripes will look, see if there was a foot on the line, but Golden State cut it. It was 49-41, now 49-46. Inside 4 minutes to go. Wolves are shooting either 2 or 3. We'll keep you updated on that. Gavin Sheets up to start the bottom of the 6th against Kikuchi. See if the Padres can get me one more. So right now, we've got a lot going on here. D-backs money line. Padres, we need one more run out of San Diego to cash that out. Oilers, we just need to hold up 3-0 with 23.5 minutes left in that game. And then the Wolves. Wolves-Warriors. That'll be the sweat out as we continue. Let's get you updated on some props in the Wolves-Warriors game. Ant-Man was a popular recipient of a lot of bets. Points and rebounds, which was set at 34.5. Well, he's got 8 points and 3 rebounds thus far. Jules Randle has been the killer. 19 points, 5 boards. Far and away the leading scorer for Minnesota. Only guy in double figures. Ant-Man with his 8 is the next man up. A lot of 5s and 6s, though. Pretty diverse, balanced scoring attack. For the Warriors, only guy in double figures, Jonathan Kuminga's got 10. Draymond has 8. Jimmy has 7. Buddy, keep an eye on his 3-point prop. It was over 3.5 plus money. He's 2 for 5 from beyond the arc. He's got 9. So the Warriors coming in pretty balanced. New starting 5. Trace Jackson-Davis in the starting 5 with Pajemski, Hield, Butler, Green. So far, it's been Kuminga, Looney, and Gary Payton relegated to the bench, coming off the bench for the Warriors as they've cut it to a 2-point game. This Golden State team's not quitting. By the way, they're on pace for the over. Total came in shy of 2. 199.5 on your total. And they're over 100 with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half, in the second quarter. 52-50. Wolves lead it. Buddy Hield's got 11. And folks, the NBA playoffs are heating up. And while they do so, our partner ProfitX is offering the best odds all postseason long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in over 40 states. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than the books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. And here's the best part, and what I love taking advantage of, you can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today, code VSiN, VSiN, and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Golden State headed to the line now with a chance to tie it. My goodness, how about the Warriors? They are refusing to go down quietly, even with no Steph Curry. Bottom of the 7th in San Francisco. And it's looking like the Giants have a guy on first with none out. Merrill Kelly still out there. 6 innings for Kelly, 1 earned, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts. He's been really good this year. Coming into action, 6 of his 8 starts, he's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer. He's gotten touched up in the other 2 starts, but for the most part, he's looked really good. It's why his ERA is a bit inflated at 3.78, even with 6 innings of 1-run ball tonight, looking to make this his 7th and 9 starts where he goes 2 earned runs or fewer, because the 2 where he allowed more than 2 earned runs, they got ugly. Kelly at 87 pitches. Verlander's book is closed. 6 innings, 2 earned, 5 Ks, 79 pitches. Really economical night for Verlander. Under 80 pitches in 6+ innings. His ERA down to 4.3. Rough start for Verlander. He's really settled in. His last 4 or 5 starts, he has looked like a much better pitcher. Giants are a team worth betting on. I think Verlander's last 4 or 5 starts, except he's not getting any run support. That seems to be the problem there. 6th inning over in Petco. We go to the 7th. 4-3 Padres. Go to commercial. More cashing out with Joe Ceraulo up next.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Monday night, right on into your Tuesday morning for our friends over on the East Coast. And right now, taking you over to the progressive guest line. The NBA playoffs are heating the heck up. Who better to break it down with than VSiN senior editor, our buddy Zach Cohen, right now with us on Cashing Out. Zach, how are you, my man? How have you been enjoying these second-round games? I need your reaction to Knicks-Celtics Game 4 at MSG. The Garden was rocking, man. What did you see in that game?
I mean, that was an awesome game. What Jalen Brunson did late in the game to steal it was incredible. Tatum, before he got injured, was playing maybe the best game I've seen him play in the playoffs, but Brunson came up with bigger shots when he needed to, and I thought that New York just played really well in this game. I think this is the first game that you could really say the Knicks had a clean, deserved win in the series, but it couldn't have come at a better time. Now they really should win this series. I can't see Boston winning 3 in a row without Tatum.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I agree with you 1,000% that this is maybe the first time you say the Knicks played a clean game. They still came back from, a 14, 16-point deficit in the third quarter. It just wasn't another 20-point deficit, so it never felt out of reach because it never exceeded 20 points. I mean, they still were the comeback kids in this one. It was just a ridiculous performance. But Jason Tatum, you mentioned the injury there. I mean, we obviously are awaiting MRI results. Tatum's going to get them on Tuesday. And, I mean, this looked really bad, right? Do you foresee Jason Tatum returning this series, or do you think his season might be done? What do you think about Game 5 early odds from the betting perspective?
Yeah, I don't see him coming back. I like to consider myself a good Twitter doctor, and I've seen some videos of that calf popping already. So I do think he tore his Achilles, honestly. He kind of looked exactly like the Damian Lillard injury, almost the same exact shot. So
God.
I'd be surprised if we see him. I do think maybe we see Boston win game 5. Just, it is a zigzag theory at play here where I believe they opened as -5 favorites. And I'm not sure
Still there.
That's where they would be. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. You have me?
Yeah, I know. I was saying they're still there, as in they're still -5.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me if I'm still here. Yeah, I just think that spread is baking in the desperation for Boston, as we've seen throughout the NBA playoffs with teams being inflated at home, coming off of losses.
Yeah, speaking of that zigzag theory and game 5s, Indiana, Cleveland coming up. I mean, the Cavs are laying 7.5. We still don't know much about Donovan Mitchell's health and availability. My guess, and this is like you said with the Twitter doctor thing, this is just completely my guess. I think Mitchell's going to go because they're facing elimination, but I think he's going to be far from 100%. And to have Cleveland, I know that they're at home. Home court's been a disadvantage this second round of the NBA playoffs. To have them laying 7.5, I don't know. Do you go with the road team in this one, that trend, or do you go with the zigzag trend? Which side are you on here?
I'm not taking a side in this game. If I was taking one, I'd probably go with the zigzag trend and lay the points with the Cavs. Ooh. I agree with you. I think Mitchell's going to be out there, and I think that this Cleveland team is going to believe that they can win 3 in a row. They have a much better shot at doing it than Boston does, especially, obviously, if Mitchell is healthy. We saw the Cavaliers absolutely rock them in that game 3, so they know that they are, probably a better team when they are playing their best basketball. Having said that, the only thing I have in this game is Miles Turner to go over 6.5 rebounds. He's had 7+ in 3 of the 4 games in this series, also averaging 15+ rebound chances. I just think that he's been looking really good on the boards. He knows kind of the task at hand going against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And he even said after game 4 that Rick Carlisle kind of ripped them after that game 3 performance, and he looks motivated and ready to go.
Yeah, Turner definitely, him and Spicy P down low left a lot to be desired. Game 3, they answered the call. Game 4, everyone on Indiana answered the call. Game 4 in that blowout win, which, it was a 20-point final. That game was much more than a 20-point game with the 41-point halftime lead there. Game 4, assuming it's Indiana, New York conference finals. Now, obviously, neither series is over yet. But how do you see the Eastern Conference shaking out when it seemed like it was a foregone conclusion before the playoffs? Everyone thought it was Cleveland-Boston.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to call. I'm going to need to see a price on it before I make up my mind, because heading into the playoffs, I had Indiana rated a little bit better than New York just based off, December on trends at cleaning the glass, seeing, the Pacers after their slow start to the season were the 6th best team in the league in efficiency differential. New York was around 10th to 12th in pretty much everything, offensive rating, defensive rating. So I kind of thought Indiana was the better team. Having said that, I have to decide how I want to consider what New York just did to Boston, assuming they do win the series, and figure out which team I like better. I mean, I will say we saw them play last year. The Knicks looked like the better team until those injuries kind of piled up. And New York is the team that made more, sizable offseason moves. So I would say that the rotation pieces for New York looks a little bit better. I do think Carlisle's a better coach than Thibodeau, and I think the Pacers play with a little more purpose on both ends of the floor. I just have to kind of sit down and think about it. I do think that if I get Pacers plus 160 or better, I would take that. And I think it's not crazy to think that, just because, there is usually a tax baked into New York series. Right. But if it's shorter than that, it'll be tough to call.
Not crazy at all. They duked it out for 7 last year. And to your point, the Knicks did get hammered as the series progressed with injuries after their 2-0 lead. But, I mean, Indiana ultimately won the series a year ago. They're certainly, if you can point to one area of this Indiana team and say that there's no doubt they have the advantage over the Knicks, it's depth. They've got more depth than New York. They've got more depth than maybe anyone in the East. We thought that was Cleveland. Indiana's bench has been outplaying Cleveland's bench this series. I mean, I love it, man. It's like the rivalry from the 90s, late 90s is back. Knicks Pacers, we could get them in the playoffs, second round or later, 2 years in a row. Zach, let's shift Western Conference here. Nuggets Thunder, Game 5 in OKC. I said going into Game 2, I would lay the 10.5 with Oklahoma City, and they won by 47. I'm hesitant to lay the 10 with them in this spot. I think they win. My lean is Nuggets. I'm curious how you see this game.
I lean Thunder. I don't know if I want to lay the points either. I'm going to end up taking the over on the team total of 115.5.
Ooh.
I know that we've seen some unders over these last 2 games, but I do think, with an inexperienced team like the Thunder, which they are, I know they were unbelievable during the regular season, but outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's nobody on the team that you could really trust on a nightly basis in the postseason. It's tough to go to Denver with that type of group and shoot well. We saw in games 1 and 2, this team lit up the scoreboard. Even in the loss in game 1, they put up 119. I think that those shooters that they have that are a little bit inconsistent will be a lot better off at the Paycom Center. And I do think that the Nuggets are still vulnerable defensively. It looked a lot better at Ball Arena, but this is a team that was bottom 10 in the league in adjusted defensive rating, after the All-Star break. It's not a group that I trust on that end of the floor. So I think we're going to see the guys outside of Shai, like Jalen Williams, like Lou Dort, knock down their threes, help out with the floor spacing. They had a really high expected points per possession in game 4 and just did not live up to it. I know that they won that game. They clawed it away. That was really impressive for a young team, but I think we're going to see kind of a really good offensive performance finally in game 5.
Yeah, it was an impressive comeback, but I think what got overshadowed by the Nuggets' 8-point first quarter was that Oklahoma City's offense was not much better early on. They could have asserted themselves with a massive lead to only be up 9, 17-8 after the first quarter. I think spoke to their own offensive issues, and maybe it was the early start coming off Friday night's overtime game, but that wasn't a pretty game offensively for either side. I like your team total play here. Zach, before we let you go, we got about 90 seconds here. I have to ask you, can we officially use the R word on air? Can we say that the NBA lottery is rigged after the Dallas Mavericks get the number 1 pick?
It's tough. I mean, it's so hard to make an argument that it wasn't. I mean, I'm going to say that it wasn't, but I will say, it's absolutely insane what we saw happen in the lottery. Seeing the Mavericks get the number 1 pick, I can't think of a person that deserved it less than Nico Harrison after shipping Luka Doncic away, but I do think the Mavericks fans maybe did deserve that bit of good fortune. They have been about as depressed as anybody this entire NBA season, so I think getting flagged there is going to help things, smooth things over. I do think that team on paper with Flag is definitely a title contender next year. Assuming Kyrie Irving comes back healthy after that torn ACL, that's a really good looking starting 5 with Kyrie, Christie, Flag, AD, and Lively. That's going to be a number 1 adjusted defensive rating team in the league at some point. I don't know how fast it's going to be. And then they do have some guys to go out there and get some buckets with Kyrie and AD. So I love the way that team's going to look with Flag. And I will say I'm expecting some trades out of the Spurs and Sixers because those are win now teams, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to want to make those picks.
I cannot wait to have you back on as we get closer to the draft and break down how we think it's going to all shake out after Cooper Flag goes number 1 inevitably to Dallas. Zach, appreciate the time, man. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Thank you.
VSiN senior editor Zach Cohen. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at BettingOnX. And folks, smarter bets start right here, and they last all year long with VSiN Pro. For a limited time, we're slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $1.99. And when you sign up today, we're going to throw in 2 extra months for free. That's 14 months VSiN Pro access for less than 50 cents a day when you use the promo code PRO. Get 14 months of access to our daily best bets from hosts and guests, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 live video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app, plus all of our special edition betting guides. Just head to VSiN.com/subscribe now, promo code PRO, and lock in your 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $1.99. That's VSIN.com/subscribe.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Can the San Diego Padres get me one more run? Bottom of the 7th, they lead at 4-3 over the Angels. The closest team to the Padres in proximity, Luis Arias up for the Pods, just fouled one off to stay alive, 0-2 count. San Diego with one out and a guy on first. If Arias can get this guy on first home, we will cash a plus money play. Padres over 4.5 runs. Can Arizona, on the flip side, hold on to this 2-1 lead? Bottom of the 8th. Giants have a man on first, one out. And we'll do it again. Full count pitch fouled off from the D-backs. Can't quite see who's up for San Francisco. You'll have to pardon the glare. But one on, one out. A ground ball double play here would be sensational to get us to the 9th with Arizona preserving this 2-1 lead. Maybe the under was the safer play here. And obviously, still could get home D-backs money line, but 2-1, late innings, getting dicey. Arias goes down. Machado is up. He's 2 for 2 in this one. So top of the lineup right now for the Padres. Things will get a little more complicated. 4, 5, 6 due up next inning. Still formidable when San Diego's healthy. Merrill, Sheets down there. But it would be nice if Machado could keep this rolling here in the bottom of the 7th, because if the Padres hold this 4-3 lead, we won't get those final 3 outs, that final opportunity to get a 5th run. So right now, in decent position for both of these. Let's see. San Diego felt a lot better. I walked into the studio. They had 4 runs in the 5th inning. Now the game is moving along, and we're not getting that 5th run. 3rd period underway. Oilers, Knights. Looks like someone just took a puck to the shin for Las Vegas. That's not fun. I can't speak from experience, but Pietrangelo taken, thanks to our producer Jared Moore for throwing in my ear who that was. Pietrangelo taking a puck to the shin, and he is in pain on the bench right now. By the way, did you see VSiN's own Stormy Bonantoni took a puck to the elbow the other day when she was ringside reporting? I'm not sure if it was game 1 or game 2 of the series, but make sure you follow her on social media, @Stormy, and puck right to the elbow. She posted about it the following day. That is a dangerous gig, being a ringside reporter. My goodness. Those things come flying at you every which direction, and you've got little to no reaction time. So Pietrangelo on the bench. We're just outside of 19 minutes to play. 3rd period freshly underway here. Edmonton up 3-0. Again, we have the Oilers money line -110 that we will be sweating out. They are currently -10,000 on the money line. Cannot advise that as a live bet. Not going to go there. We just had, was that a catch? Wow. Arizona, San Francisco. Was that Gurriel Jr.? Looks like he's a little shaken up. I'm not sure if he's going to come out of the game. He's grabbing his knee. That would have tied it for the Giants. A shot to the warning track in left center. And what a leaping grab. The ball was behind him. He overran it. Full extension, glove behind his head. Gurriel Jr. saves a run for the D-backs and then does a backwards tumble. Wow. What a catch. Runner has to go back to first. Can't even advance. 2 outs, 1 on. He's staying in the game. Who says baseball players aren't tough, huh? That was a hell of a catch. Full extension. Landed funny on his knee. Backwards somersault. And Gurriel Jr. potentially saving the game for Arizona. We're going to have second half action in just a few seconds from the Bay Area. Golden State leading it. They were down 49-41. They close out a 19-9 run to end the first half. They lead at 60-58. We've got Minnesota -4 and a hook. Current live line, Minnesota's favored by 2.5 in this one. Money line, Wolves -$1.45. Golden State plus $1.15. Live total is 218.5. Remember, pre-flop, that total was 199.5. D-backs, how about it? They get out of the inning. Gurriel Jr., him and his heroics will be due up second, top of the 9th. See if Arizona can tack on some insurance runs there at San Fran. Angels are up. Yohan Moncada's been on a little hot streak at the dish for the Angels. Top of the 8th, they're down 4-3. Also wouldn't be opposed to the Angels tying this game up. giving the Padres a shot, extra innings. I mean, it's only the 8th right now, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this is the heart of their lineup. That would be pretty good for our team total play if San Diego has an opportunity potentially to come up in the 10th with a ghost runner on, and by then it would be the top of the lineup because they're going to have 5, 6, 7, bottom 8. It would be 8, 9, 1, bottom 9. So as Moncada works a 4-pitch leadoff walk, I would not be opposed to getting extra innings at Petco Park. I don't care who wins the game. I just need another run for the Padres. Live number there, Angels were plus 750 not long ago, now plus 350. Padres, minus $5. Run line, San Diego, it was minus 105, now it's 3-1. Angels plus a run and a half was minus 125, now it's minus $4. Couple innings go by, prices shift massively. Second half action, we are underway at the Bay. Wow. Are they going to call a foul on that? All right, I guess there's going to be a foul called. Whoever attempted that layup, I think that was Pajemski for Golden State, got rejected by the rim. Good thing that foul got called to save him the embarrassment because he was way too far under the rim to be shooting that. My goodness. And that was kind of a ticky-tack foul. I guess a little contact to the arm, but that was not a hard foul. It was just an embarrassing shot. Have some spatial awareness, for goodness sake. First free throw is good. Warriors lead by 3. Oilers still leading by 3. Inside 16 minutes to go. Vegas shot on net, denied. Am I reading that correctly? Are the Oilers out shooting them 2-1? I'm going to check on that because unless my eyes are deceiving me, am I looking at 29-14? Wow, yeah. Thanks for the confirmation there, Jared. 29-14. That is a hell of a disparity right there. The Knights just not getting anything going on offense. In Edmonton, they've been so in a rhythm, even in their loss. Another game, another over. I mean, if this one stays under, don't blame the Oilers for it. It's all Vegas if this game stays under, which it's looking like it's going to. What are we looking at, 6.5s and 7s out there in the market? Whereas the Carolina-Washington game from earlier in the day was a 5.5 total. By the way, went over. Great call there from VSiN's own Jonathan Davis. Came on the program yesterday. Gave out the over, and it did not look good when it was 2-0 Canes after 2 periods. But how about 3-2? Oh, shoot. I didn't even... I'm getting ready for the show. I'm dialed in Knicks Celtics. I placed an Ovechkin goal scorer, and I didn't even know that cashed. I went half unit plus $1.80. Holy crap, what a day it's been. I love it. Ovi with a power play goal. Last I saw it was 3-1 Canes. I figured stick a fork in them. 5-2, your final there. I'm finding out an hour and a half, 2 hours after the fact that Ovechkin scored. He had been scoreless 4 straight games. And all the standard books had plus 140, plus 150. Went to our friends at Profit X. Personally requested. He was like plus 170 on there. I requested plus 180. I got matched. It cashed out. Rest stop props. We got to make that a segment. I was driving from LA to Vegas. I placed that in Baker, California. Just about 40 minutes on the California side of the California-Nevada border. Making my last pit stop. Had to take a leak. And of course, had to check the odds while I could still use Profit X in Cali before crossing the border. And we got there. Wow. Ovi. Plus $1.80. That's a winner. Love it. Look at me. Who am I? Who is this man? Betting hockey? Going to go 2-0 on the ice? I mean, if the Oilers hold this 3-0 lead, I'll have a 2-0 day on the ice. Be up nearly 2 full units because the Ovi play was a half a unit play. Wow. Love it. Carolina 5-2, though. They take a commanding 3-1 lead. Going back to D.C. for Game 5. I'll probably look to back the Capitals in that Game 5 and say that the Canes end it on home ice in 6. Home ice has been huge. It's actually really funny. You look at how home court in the NBA has been a disaster for the most part, but home ice has been massive. And this was another great nugget our friend Jonathan Davis pointed out yesterday on the program. Home ice was coming in the last 2 postseasons slightly under 50%, and it's coming in around 60% this postseason. As the Canes go 2-0 on their home ice, games 3 and games 4. Capitals opening plus $1.45 for that game 5 on Thursday. They'll have 2 days of rest before game 5. Panthers Leafs will also have 2 days of rest before. Wow, yeah, we're entering territory where we're gonna have like one hockey game a day. I also like the Leafs in that game 5. New hour, cashing out with Joe Ceraulo up next.